And we are live. Welcome to Beastly Thoughts Live Podcast, the #1 source for video game-related discussion on the internet, confirmed by science. Recorded live on twitch.tv/Briar Rabbit every Sunday evening and broadcast throughout the world via YouTube, iTunes, and Podbean. Today, we'll be talking about the latest gaming news and the price of games and season passes, plus much more. What's going on, guys? It's so good to see it. This monitor is so close to my face right now. It's like ridiculous. Like,
I love it. Yeah.
I'm reading text that's this big, but I feel like I have to move my head to read it.
I like it. I feel like I'm giving you a dental examination or something. We're that close at the moment.
Yeah.
You know,
No
this tooth back here has been acting up a little lately.
This is a way to give the audience up close and personal Briar Rabbit that they don't get on every show.
It probably doesn't look any different, but Skype and my webcam were giving me a ton of issues before the show started. So, like, it was way zoomed out, and you could see, like, the edges of my green screen and all that. So I just grabbed the monitor and just moved it to my face to zoom in. And now the screen is, I don't know, it's just far away from my face.
You're doing pretty good, Briar. You look great, man.
Hey, we make it happen. We make it do.
Damn fine. I've got to say, for part of this intro, Brian mentioned it, but we really have been appreciating the growth we've seen on Podbean and iTunes. You guys are the best. We've actually hit our 46 follower milestone, which doesn't sound like much. We're coming up to the 50. So if you guys are hovering over that link, which is down in the description of Briar's YouTube or in the chat right now, head over, give us a follow, a like, a comment, and we will be eternally grateful. Actually, I want to do a shout out to the one guy listening from Colombia, Ecuador, Kuwait, and Puerto Rico. Hey, Buenvenido.
Wait, there's one guy who listens from all of those different countries?
That's a bad dude, man.
Yeah, man, he travels. He gets around.
It's one from each, but, you know, to our South American brethren and
he's got a girl in every port?
That's a bad dude, man.
He's listening to one of the most quality entertainment shows out there on the internet. But yeah, we'd like to thank
he's doing it
that
worldwide.
one listener. Yeah, he's holding it down for South America for us. So yeah,
thank you.
Do it.
Thanks, brother, brothers, sisters, whoever you might be, Mister. We really do appreciate it.
We sure do. Guys, we got a lot to talk about. I'm really excited for this show. I always am really excited for this show. I do want to do a couple of pieces of self-promotion real quick. If you guys aren't aware, the Guardian Con stream, it's a charity stream for St. Jude's, is going on right now. They're basically going on for 24 hours a day for a week straight. And they got different hosts coming in for 4-hour blocks. And I'll be on there on Wednesday from 8 to midnight with the guys from the other podcast that I do, the Destiny Community Podcast. So we're going to be raising money for the Little Lights, St. Jude's Children's Hospital. So if you guys are around, definitely check that out. Come hang out with us and throw a little money toward the kids, man.
Absolutely.
For sure. Right. Sure. Worthy cause.
I'm going to watch as long as I can because, you know, I have to get up early in the morning, but you will see me Wednesday and I will drop some money. I got to steal it from my wife and I'll do it.
That's past my bedtime. I told him.
It's totally past mine. Midnight. Woo.
I'm 8 o'clock sharp.
Not 9:30, and that's stretching it for me. You know, when you get up here in age, you know, those late nights, they become early nights.
You know, that early bird breakfast ain't gonna eat itself. That's what I'm saying.
You got that right. I'm trying to move toward that senior discount, man.
You see, I dream of an Eastern time zone. I just sit and dream of it.
I'm dreaming of the Western. I'm dreaming of the Pacific time zone.
Oh yeah, that's really nice. 3 hours back. Would it be great if you could just hit a light switch and it would go to whichever time zone you needed at the time?
Oh yeah, but no jet lag. Like I don't want like the body effects of doing that.
No, yeah, absolutely
I just want it
not.
to like not affect me at all in any way. You know what? Actually, would be more preferable if I could just cut out sleep altogether. Like I'd have so much more time. So much more time. You know all the shit I could get done if I didn't have to waste 8 hours a day sleeping.
But that would be the worst reality though, Briar, because you would actually notice yourself growing old. It's like it would be a long ass day, and then all of a sudden one of these moments you look in the mirror and you're like a 70-year-old. You're like, what the fuck happened?
It was one day.
Yeah.
I didn't even take a nap.
This is bullshit.
Dude, think about it though. You don't have to sleep. All that time wasted is just, it's all yours now. you get a room back in your house. You don't have to have a bedroom anymore. You have a VR room.
I got
master
one.
bedroom's pretty good, and the bathroom's adjacent.
You have a pole room. You know, just set up a pole with a sofa in the room.
That's better than the VR
I like
room.
it.
Yeah.
I knew a guy a couple of years ago. He had a poker party at his house. He had a stripper pole in his bedroom.
Wow. Was his girlfriend hot?
He didn't have a girlfriend.
He was single. That was it.
He's really bringing the strippers home. This is a bad dude.
He bangs no one at all. The guy's single. He's got a pole in his bedroom, for Christ's sake.
Maybe he was just
No
using it for
woman's coming home.
calisthenics.
You know what, Gary? You're absolutely right.
He's the only guy using that pole. Let's be honest here.
Another stripper pole I saw was my buddy started dating a girl, and she had a stripper pole in her own bedroom.
Wow.
Yeah. Now,
Super
the claim was that she actually used it, because you can do, like, the stripper calisthenics or stripper workout, right? You guys have heard of this,
Yeah, that's
right?
that's what they call it. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it takes a lot of work to go upside down and hang on that pole. It's, strong core strength stuff right there.
Yeah. I mean, but you can never look at a girl the same way after you see that, though, right? My younger brother, who's living in Ohio now, his ex-wife, they had one in their first apartment. And when I first moved to Ohio years ago, upon meeting her and going to their house, she showed me her moves on the stripper pole.
Yeah.
My brother just sat next to me and smiled.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to look at people the same way after you see that show.
Welcome to the family, son. And also, the best video game podcast on the net, where we exclusively discuss
Who's that?
video
I'd like
games.
to subscribe.
Exclusive.
12 minutes in, we've hit stripper poles, we've hit no sleep,
I can tell you about my new
philandering.
1440p 144 hertz monitor. Like, if we really just want to avoid video games for the rest of the show, we could do it.
Yeah.
Right. I want to hear about that monitor, and I want to hear exactly what you've been looking at on that monitor. Hit me up.
I literally came home with the monitor, plugged it in. Now I have 4 monitors on my desk. It's a real goddamn mess here. I just wanted to plug it in, see if it worked. The goal is, right, I want a G-Sync monitor so I can play, with G-Sync on my PC games, but I also want to be able to plug a console into it. It was kind of I've been looking at 1080p monitors. They actually had this one on discount at Best Buy, so I decided to just pick it up and give it a shot. It's 1440p, so I don't even know if it's going to work out for me. We'll give it a shot, but I have been playing a PC game that I don't think anybody else is interested in. It's called Dirt Rally. Have you guys heard of this game?
I've heard of that series before, of course.
I am very interested in it because I'm a fellow VR head, and I understand that it is a VR compatible title.
It is a VR. It's compatible with the Oculus, so you can use Revive to. I have the Vive, so I can play the Oculus version of the game. It's also on sale right now on the Steam store for really cheap. It was still $60 like last week, but I think it's down to like 15 or 20 on the Steam store. The game is a rallycross game, and it's somewhat of a simulation. There's a bit of arcadey physics to it. But you basically, you race down dirt tracks. And what I like about rallycross as opposed to most sorts of racing games is that in a lot of racing games like your Gran Turismos or your Forzas, the way to get better is to memorize the track, right? Is to just do lap after lap after lap. So you know exactly where to turn in. You know exactly where to hit the brakes. You learn your car, but you also learn the track. In rallycross, that's all thrown out the window because each stage of a race is not a loop around a track, but actually like a road course. And it's down a dirt road or a gravel road or a snow-covered road where you go from point A to point B and you do it as fast as you can. And you're not racing against other people on the track with you. You're racing against times. And there's, 2, 3, 4, many kind of...
Ghosts?
What's that?
Will they be like ghosts with you?
They're not ghosts. You don't see the other cars. You just see their times. And there's different legs of each race, and the cumulative score at the end, the person with the lowest time for the entire race after all the different legs wins the entire race. And what I like about rallycross, what I've always liked about rallycross, is that it's not about memorizing the track. It's about reacting to what you see in front of you and what your co-driver is telling you. You got a co-driver sitting next to you who's calling out, you got a 60-degree turn coming up in 200 meters. Then you got a 20-degree turn coming up in 50 meters. You got a hairpin turn coming, and you're just reacting. You're totally. The skill is to keep control of your car while you're going as fast as you can, while you're on snow and you're going over jumps, and it's just a lot of fun. And I've been playing it with the Vive in VR, and it's really immersive because you really feel like you're in that car. And unfortunately, I'm playing with a controller. I'd love to get a steering wheel set up because I feel like I'm in that car and I'm reacting to stuff. And I've played other driving games in VR. I played what's the one for PSVR?
Driveclub.
Oh man, terrible thing.
I thought it was fun, right? Because it was my first VR experience in
actually
driving.
You gave it high praise, yeah.
Yeah.
When you first played
to me, it's always been kind of the dream. My biggest problem with it was that it caused a little bit of motion sickness and
jarring, yeah.
It also, the graphics sucked.
Absolutely
too blocky. They were too blocky at distance, so you'd be coming up to a turn and you couldn't tell which way you had to go, right? You couldn't react because you had to be right up on that turn before you could see the little chevrons painted that told you need to take a left. I also tried Project Cars on PC,
yes,
and that had much better graphics. But they don't. This game caused motion sickness for me. Project Cars did.
Is it also VR compatible?
Also VR compatible. Yeah. Part of the reason for that was I think in the early game you start in little go-karts, racing go-karts, which isn't super fun. I don't want to race go-karts. I just want to race supercars. Like, that's why I'm here. Like, don't give me a go-kart. Don't give me a Mazda Miata. Don't give me a Honda Accord. Don't give me a Prius. Like, I want to race a fucking Ferrari, man. Like, that's why I'm here. Anyhow, yeah. It also caused a little bit, when you crash or when you bump into things, it was really jarring. And that's what was causing the motion sickness for me. Not the actual driving, but like any time you tapped anything out that you weren't supposed to, it would immediately move your field of view to someplace else, and it was awful. Wow. So I bounced off of Project Cars right away. And not a bad game for on a monitor. Didn't like it in VR. So I finally got around to Dirt Rally, and I got to say, the way they handle crashing and all that stuff is very subtle, and it doesn't move you out of the experience. It's also very fun being in the cockpit and having your co-driver sitting right next to you, telling you what's coming up while you're just reacting to what the car's doing. You feel the only thing missing is the G-forces.
Really?
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a cool experience. It's not. It takes a beast of a computer to run it. The graphics take a serious downgrade to do it into VR. I mean, the game looks phenomenal on a PC, but when you're looking at VR, it's a huge downgrade. And Dirt 4 is out, I think, right now. So Dirt Rally is already old.
So I played the Dirt series when it was still known as Colin McRae Rally, because that's what they rebranded into. So I played it back when Codemasters were knocking out the old Colin McRae's. I enjoyed it back then. I haven't tried it in VR, but I have tried Project Cars, and I didn't have the same experience as you. What I will say, if anyone is a fan of VR racing, is that Project Cars do offer a VR patch, which is community made. It's like a mod, which helps with some of the features that you talk about and adds adaptive resolution. So the edges of the screen become more blurred to focus on better quality visuals for the center of the screen where you're looking, and that works really, really well.
I have to check that out because I did not like Project Cars at all. I didn't like the fact that I had to start with go-karts, and I didn't like the fact that when I crashed, it was not even crashed. When I just bumped into another car, it was my perspective moved dramatically, and that made me. I usually don't get motion sick from games, from VR games.
Real quick, can I just supplement what you guys just brought up? Project Cars is a game that I've had for a long time, and I swear to God, no lie, today was the very first time I ever played it on Xbox One. Swear to God. My whole family played it. Nova played it. My wife played it. My son played it. Very first time. I can't believe you guys said that. It was. But continue, Briar. To me, it was just amazing.
That's what I've been playing. I just, I think it was seeing Forza for the Xbox One X. Just kind of, I don't know. It just kind of ignited I'd really like a good driving game for the VR. even though Xbox One X doesn't have VR yet. And Finding Dirt Rally really is scratching that itch for me. It's a really great game. It's got me. I've got an old PlayStation 2 steering wheel setup that I'm wondering if it will still work on PC. It's USB, wow. So I'm wondering if I could just use that. It's got the 4-speed back and everything.
I used to have one years ago, but who knows? I can't even. I have no idea where that stuff is now. I'll quickly go through what I went through. We're kind of lagging on a little bit. I actually played some VR this week myself. I had a friend over Friday. We played some Tekken. I went through my entire studio and changed everything, so I re-hooked up my PSVR. Now I don't have to play it on the monitor. I can play it on my 60-inch. And I think that's probably the reason I've been playing so much. I don't like playing it in the corner, feeling so confined in front of my computer monitor. And so I played Tekken VR with Tekken 7. And it's basically the exact same game that you know and love as far as Tekken, but you're kind of a spectator as you play. The characters you're controlling are out in the middle of this arena, and you can pretty much dictate how far away from the action you are, which angle you view it from.
So you're like the cameraman?
Yeah, but you play it at the same time. So you can set it up to where you're right next to the characters, real close to the action, and you can press certain buttons like R1 or R2 or L2 and L1. They'll do different things like zoom up on the action dynamically, like if you do something incredible, or go into slow motion mode. So I played that. I didn't know if I'd like it. It's actually pretty damn awesome. You're unable to play against other people, though. So all you're able to do basically is go through the arcade mode. But I thought it was pretty cool. Something I've been wanting to do, I kind of got back into this week, was playing my Nintendo Switch. I haven't played my Switch in a while, guys. It's been a few weeks. And I'm back in love with The Legend of Zelda. That game just has so much to it. I've been playing for the last 2 days here and there, taking time, really investing. I probably invested at least 6 hours probably over the last two days just playing that game and really getting back into it and enjoying it. Friday the 13th. This week, that's been the game I've been playing. I know it has a lot of issues as far as the net code and people getting disconnected, but it's a lot of fun. We were actually supposed to play that sometime this week. Maybe we can play it as the Beastly Thoughts crew next week. But it's a lot of fun playing that game. They released some free content because of all the issues that people have been having with the game. They released the retro Jason from the NES game. So if you guys remember the Friday the 13th game that came out back in the mid-'80s, it was a blue Jason Voorhees. They actually created that in the modern game with very reminiscent. No, he's not. He's just blue, the same color. He kind of emanates that blue glow that he had in the NES, and they created some Friday the 13th chiptune music to go along with it. So when he's coming, you hear this music. It sounds like a really sick NES game coming your way, but it sounds like Friday the 13th. They also gave you some new clothing items for each of the counselors, and $13,000 to spend upgrading and really tweaking your character. So
$13,000 straight to your bank account. That is a generous offer from a developer. I wish I'd bought it, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, now you know. Knowing's half the battle. But I've been having a lot of fun with that game as well. And it's probably my first week in a couple of weeks. I've actually had some time to play games due to what's been going on. But it's been great, and I look forward to getting more into games in the coming weeks. Gary?
Fantastic. I've had a very, very busy week, and I'm going to fly through it at breakneck speed because there's a lot of titles I've been playing. So we're going to have a smorgasbord. It's a buffet of titles. First one was Final Fantasy XIV, the Stormblood expansion, which launched last week. So there may be some Final Fantasy fans on the podcast. I don't know of any myself.
Gary, I am actually really strongly considering picking this game up. I've been watching a little bit of footage, and it looks good.
So if you're an MMO head, it is like a very, very watered-down diet MMO. But that's actually a positive thing from my perspective. It's a soft transition from single-player campaigns. So if you're used to things like Skyrim or Oblivion, where there's a really, really strong narrative story, but with exploration and freedom, that's pretty much what Final Fantasy XIV is. But again, if you're used to things like World of Warcraft or Black Desert, you'll feel that it's maybe too scripted, too linear. So I'd recommend this game to people that want to dip their toe in MMOs, but are
a transition game.
Yeah, like a sort of like a gateway drug onto harder things. So you take this, and then you'll be shooting up World of Warcraft directly into your veins before you know it. But yeah, it's got chocobos, it's got things like seared airship travel, so it's got all the callbacks to Final Fantasy set in an MMO world, and the master main story quest, the campaign, if you want to call it that takes you right the way from 1 to level 70, probably takes about 100. and that's not including all the other content that you've got in there. So great value. Pick it up. It does carry a subscription though, so be warned that if you pick it up, you'll have to pay monthly.
What's the price monthly? $15?
Something like that. I don't know, $10-15.
Yeah,
it's not a lot.
I think it's about $12.99 is the last time that Kate and I paid for the Final Fantasy online for the PS4. I think that was what they charged, $12.99 a month.
I've been hearing a lot of good things about this game lately, man. People are saying it's a lot of fun. The story is phenomenal. Like, it's grindy like an MMO is, but it also feels rewarding. I'm hearing good things about this game.
Definitely. The story is very, very rewarding. It's heavily voice acted. There's lots and lots of cutscenes, where you get in-game cutscenes to drive the narrative along. And I should have mentioned as well that it's, I didn't want to get too deep on it, but you guys seem interested. It's got crossplay between PS4, Mac, and PC. So if you've got the game, you can play with people on other platforms. And also, if you've got licenses for all of them, you can play it on a PS4, Monday, Tuesday, pick it up, play it on a PC, Mac, etc. So I've been playing with my fiance, who's and it's got PS4 Pro support as well, if anyone's into that.
And controller support on the PC as well.
Controller support on PC and keyboard support on the PS4, keyboard and mouse. So it really is, straddling all sorts of boundaries there. Yeah, man, there's some sort of inter-platform relationship going on there.
And you've been playing it with your fiance, you say?
I have, yeah. I mean, she's much higher level than me. I kind of dipped my toe in the water with this one, but she's been grinding through. She's on the PS4, OG PS4. I've been on PC because why wouldn't I be? It's glorious. And yeah, we've been playing through and enjoying it, because you can chat on Discord and still have a great time.
Something that Kate and I did today, I didn't want to bring it up, but you said you were playing with your fiance. We started playing Nier Automata today. I saw that there were some comments last week in our comment section on Twitch. That people were kind of disappointed that I've had this game for a few weeks and hadn't had a chance to play. We played for about 2 hours today. Really enjoyed it. It's something special about
any excuse not to play Final Fantasy 15, right?
Or 14 now. Just multiple parts of the franchise that you're not touching. Basically.
We put quite a few hours into Final Fantasy 14. Quite a few.
Did you do it at launch? Because I heard it's like a completely when they announced 2.0.
No. We did this right before I moved and I bought my house.
Oh, okay.
So this is probably about 5 months ago. We played for a solid 2 months straight, but other things happened, and here we are.
So the other thing that I've been doing is looking at something that's going to immediately turn Briar off. He's going to turn his webcam off and just walk away at the moment. Is the Call of Duty campaign marathon. So. There we go.
Briar, Briar. You used to love her, Briar. You used to love her.
The only Call of Duty.
Yeah, you're right.
The only Call of Duty campaign I've ever played, aside from the original, back at the time when it was current, is Infinite Warfare. So I've missed all of the campaign evolution. So I'm playing this as a bit of a science project. And Briar, you were shocked when you saw me on Steam pop up going, Call of Duty, like, the hell are you doing? Like, the original one there. I've actually been playing it through and noticing the evolution of the series game to game. So I completed the first game, moved on and played through halfway through Call of Duty 2 so far. And you start to see when they implemented different mechanics and how it's evolved on. And what's crazy is that the whole features of, picking up health packs, there being class-based systems set in World War II with a really strong narrative. They had that in the first game. Like everything that was said there, they moved away from by Call of Duty 2.
Yeah.
Everything that Call of Duty World War II is going to be was in COD 1. So it was really
a big deal when they got rid of the health packs, right? The regenerating health was huge.
Yeah.
Hold on, that's returning?
Yeah, health packs are returning for COD World War II.
I didn't know this. I haven't been following closely. Wow, that's going to change it quite a bit.
So yeah, my science project continues. I bought every single Call of Duty on Steam.
Of course you did.
They're on expensive.
Yeah, I mean, I buy them from shady grey market sites with stolen credit card keys. I have no shame whatsoever. I'll rob you blind for a Call of Duty key. So, yeah, I'm playing through. So, I'll be mentioning if there's anything good that comes from that watch. Also, talking about the Steam sale, I have gone on and bought over 100 games, like literally gone crazy on them. I intend throughout the summer to revisit some great franchises, and I've been dipping my toe in some of them to see if I like them. But Call of Juarez, I'll be playing through. Hitman, Max Payne, the
Hitman
Arkham
is
series.
so good. Hitman, actually, right now, you can play the first couple of levels for free.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Well, I've got to get through the first 5 games before I get to that one, Briar. So we'll get there eventually.
That's not worth doing, man. Some of those games are bad. Just play the fun one.
Call of Juarez was pretty awful, but again, to appreciate the fine things, you got to just bang through them hood rats, you know. So that's what I'm going to be doing.
No,
in the video
you don't
game
actually.
franchise.
You can have sex with a supermodel without having to bang her ugly sister and still appreciate it.
Man,
Gary just turned this shit hood real quick. He turned it up to 9.
that's fine.
Yeah,
You know,
hang
I
on
need
the hood
to.
rats.
I need to feel the itch and the rash the next day to know what I've been missing. The last thing that I've bought, actually, before we transition on, is another monitor, Briar. I've been joining you. I felt like you couldn't have all the fun. I
Yeah.
had to do it myself.
What'd you get?
So I picked up the Asus Mg279q, if you want to be specific.
Sure.
Exactly that.
Absolutely.
For people that aren't geeks, it's a 1440p 144 hertz IPS monitor. It's to complement the 4K 60 that I've got and the 1080p 144. And I've got to say, if people are looking to buy a monitor for PC gaming in the future, high-end PC gaming, I want to say, 1440p seems to be the place to be at the moment, because you can, with a good card, a 1080 Ti, you can maintain 120, 144 hertz in most games, and it still looks stunning. So yeah, I think you're going to really see the benefit there, Brian, with the monitor you got.
What price range is this Asus monitor you picked up?
It's like $1,000,
$550,
something like that.
No, this one's not, because this is the FreeSync, not the G-Sync.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't actually mind, because if you've got a good enough graphics card to exceed the 140 frames, you don't get tearing. You only get tearing when your graphics card's not quite meeting the refresh of the screen. So yeah, from my perspective, I think it's about $600, $550 in the States. So it's not a hugely expensive screen in terms of, you know, what they can be, because I know screens can be over $1,000, like Briar said, for a G-Sync. But yeah, even if you're using an NVIDIA card, providing you've got a good enough card to do it, I'd recommend anyone to look at it. It's IPS as well, which looks fantastic. Really, really good screen. That's the Asus Mg279q. If anyone's
He knows those numbers and letters. Yeah, I got an Asus laptop, so I'll just leave it there.
I want to go. I'll tell you what I really want, Gary, is I want these new 4K monitors with the higher refresh rates in the HDR, but they're not out yet. And when they do come out, they're going to be $1,500, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, exactly, Beastly. Like, that's what I want, because, you know, I got a PC that can do 4K. I want, you know, and I want the 4K. I'm not always going to be gaming at 4K because, you know, refresh rate is more important to me than resolution. But,
sure,
you know, when I can go up to 4K, I'd like to go up to 4K. And 4K is also a television standard as opposed to the 1440, which is not. So I can also plug in a PlayStation or an Xbox One X into that monitor and enjoy the 4K and the HDR. So it's much more of a multi-use device.
Yeah.
I did pick up this 1440p screen. I'm just not sure if it's going to work out for me, because I don't want to have also a 1080p screen sitting here. You know, I don't want 4 monitors on my desk. I want 3.
Yeah.
Really, I kind of want 2.
I mean, I know that console at the moment there's a big push for 60 FPS and 60 being great, but I'm going to be honest with you, 60 hertz just isn't enough to consistently game on. Once you've been playing at 120 and 144 hertz, 60 looks,
you know, they're still locked in at 30 for everything.
Yeah, 60 is still like the dream, man.
I've been thinking about this a little bit, and I think I'm going to make a video about it, I don't know, sometime after Guardian Con. But the whole message that both Sony and Xbox are kind of pushing out there with this 4K this, 4K that, I feel like they're heading in the wrong direction. Yeah, it's a cool marketing term. It's like megapixels, though, on cameras. It ultimately is less important than having good frame rates.
Yeah.
You look at almost any PC gamer, and it doesn't matter what resolution their monitor is. What they're targeting is at least 60 frames per second. Yeah. You know, it's just the facts. You know, so you know, I have a 4K display on my PC. I rarely game at 4K because most games I just can't maintain 60 frames per second. Yeah. Very rarely. So they built these machines with all this extra power. PlayStation did it and Xbox did it. And here they are marketing 4K, 4K, 4K at 30 frames per second.
Yeah. I mean, 60, as I said, to me, I've got a 4K screen and the 1080 Ti can hold the 60 frames. I don't, but that's why I've bought a 1440 144 hertz, because to me, 60 hertz is still really, really choppy. You know, once you've had that higher frame rate, like you said, you prioritize that over resolution. Yeah, to me, I think you're 100% spot on. But the issue is that you can't really promote to a gamer that our game is 120 frames per second. You know, that's not important to a console gamer.
It's not now, but you know, if consoles start moving towards solid 60 all the time, you know, Call of Duty's been doing it for years, and people appreciate it in Call of Duty.
I think it's becoming more important.
What if what if all of a sudden PlayStation came out with the PlayStation Pro and said, "Oh, and by the way, we put a display port on this."
Right.
Wow.
You know, so yeah, you can hook it up to your TV and it'll run at 60 frames per second. If you hook it up to a monitor with a display port, you can also hit, 90, 100 frames per second.
Yeah. But then how many people would that appeal to? I guess it's a niche market.
I think the same market that are buying a PlayStation Pro or an Xbox One X. Like the guys that give a shit. That's who it appeals to.
Good point.
A lot of the people who play video games a lot are not playing on plasma TVs or LCD TVs. They're buying gaming monitors already. So why not take advantage of those, the features that some of these gaming monitors have instead of targeting 4K? I feel like they're going in the wrong direction with that.
Well, it's a long-stemming issue with console gamers. From the beginning, Briar, the thing that console gamers have been touting was graphics. You remember we were talking 32-bit, 16-bit. It was all about the graphics and the way that it was presented on screen. Now, with the power of PC, we can look past that and go to things like frame rate. It's just something that console gamers need to catch up to. As someone who has a quasi-gaming PC that's able to do more than my PS4, I understand the importance of frame rate. I've seen games running at 30 frames per second now, and I've seen them running at 60 frames, and I understand that there's a huge gap that needs to be bridged. I think that hardware developers, I think that video game developers need to not so much tout this 4K issue. It's like a lot of people don't understand the GPU versus the resolution. I bought a laptop because I wasn't a PC guy that has a 4K monitor. It was touted as a gaming laptop that only had a GTX 960M in it at a 4K monitor. Those two things do not coincide very well. The GPU can't really hold up when you go to 4K mode in any games. And so you're getting 20, 15 frames per second. Yeah. And that's the thing that a lot of console gamers don't. Yeah, let's pause this and look at it. Ooh, it looks beautiful, right? Yeah. That's the thing that console gamers don't really understand. So when console gamers hear Microsoft or Sony say 4K, true 4K, not 4K, people are still in that graphics mindset versus the overall experience, which is a good frame rate with a beautiful image. It doesn't have to be 4 and 5K. I'd rather, at this point, have a 60 frames per second game than a 4K game, and that's my personal opinion.
I mean, to close off and sort of leave the point there and move on to our news, I think as well, I just want to make the point here that we're not saying this is console gamers. I think that's probably the wrong term. Let's say casual gamers, because I think PC can have casual gamers that aren't interested in frame rate just as much as console gamers.
Absolutely.
I'm really, when I'm talking about this, I'm really looking at the top. I'm looking at the guys who are, creating this stuff and marketing this stuff, and I feel like they're missing their opportunity.
Missing the message, yeah.
Yeah. Talking about guys at the top and messages, have you heard the messages from Microsoft around Horizon? There was a job posting on LinkedIn this week for a lead environment artist, and the job posting at Microsoft said that they want someone to work on a game similar in size, scope, and setting to Horizon Zero Dawn. No further details have been announced on what this project is or whether or not it will get the Scalebound treatment. What do you think, to use the actual name of a competitor's game in your job posting?
Some people are going to hate it, some people are going to love it, but if something's successful, and you emulate it, I think that's business, man.
They're not using it for marketing. They need somebody who knows how to make a game like Horizon. They want to make a game like Horizon. They're using this to find people who know how to do that shit. I have no problem with this. This is a game that we won't see for 4+ years. It's just, hey, it happens actually frequently. We've seen companies hiring for people who can make a Destiny-like game.
Or a Grand Theft Auto-like game. We've seen tons of that, Yeah.
So our next piece of news is directed straight at our listeners and viewers, and it's Scalebound was actually cancelled because of you. Yeah, that's all of you right here. Phil Spencer has issued an apology this week addressing the fate of Scalebound when talking to GameWatch, the Japanese news site. He shared that the cancellation hurt him as much as it did fans, and he is disappointed as much as everyone else is. The actual reason stated was that Phil believed that the hype that the game was the game was too early, announced too early, and it generated far too much hype, causing pressure that turned out to be detrimental to the game's development cycle, and eventually fan expectations exceeded that to which the studio could ever actually deliver upon. What do we think then? Do we think that fans overhyped it and held this as the one holy grail of Xbox to a point that they just couldn't deliver it?
No, that's totally not true. There have been many games that have been hyped beyond belief. Look at The Last Guardian. The hype for that game was just unbelievable, and the game didn't live up to even the lowest degree of hype, in my opinion. I think that Phil Spencer.
Man, you were pretty hot on that thing when we were talking about it when it was new.
I was hyped.
When you were playing it.
Yeah, after I beat the game, watch my review. I mean, my review says it all. It is a Team Eco game set in the same world as one of my favorite games of all time, Shadow of the Colossus. So you think after a game of that pedigree, you're going to get more of that. But when you play the game and you experience it, you can see all the issues that it had. You know, just my opinion. The hype. I don't think the hype for this game was really the issue. I think the issue was the developers didn't come together with a cohesive plan for this game, and they might look at what people wanted, but really the audience doesn't dictate what you make. You can only be hyped by what you see. So what they've shown in their trailers,
Sony thing that they'll just happily push a game out that's under on the hype. I mean, No Man's Sky. Did anyone remember that one? That great Sony.
Briar remembers that game.
I liked that game when it came out. I was enjoying it.
I think Microsoft just cares. Really? Microsoft cares about the values of their consumers. Basically, you know, it's nice to have a company that care.
Right.
Talking about companies that care, Microsoft have got more Xbox exclusives on the way. Phil Spencer confirmed with Waypoint that big new exclusives do exist, but they're not in a position to show them to fans. In a soft jab at the business practices of their competitor, Spencer said, "We are investing in new things. We have signed multiple projects recently. From a PR standpoint, I thought, hey, it would be easy for me to throw these in a trailer and not have the game released for 2 to 3 years. But that's not what I want to do to our fans at Microsoft."
Hey, man, I can't do nothing but love and respect that.
Yeah, all's fair in love and war. I mean, Sony, I feel like, is under fire for having done that now too many times. You know, hey, they see a weakness, they went after it. Good on Phil Spencer.
Good on Phil.
It's very hard to not love Phil Spencer, man. I mean, it's really hard to dislike Phil. He just carries himself and always seems to say the right fucking thing. You got to love Phil Spencer.
The golden child of the gaming industry right now. You know, the guy can do no wrong.
every time I hear Phil Spencer talk, I go out and I buy an Xbox figure. This makes my day.
They should start selling Phil Spencer figures? You know,
yeah,
I'd buy one. Figures. Does it have his big swinging dick that he showed us in E3?
Conan Exile's dick slider included on every Phil Spencer action figure.
It got bigger after they showed the X too.
Well, if Phil Spencer is the hero of the gaming industry, then I think Sony are slowly becoming the villains. PlayStation boss Shuhei Yoshida said in an interview with Jag at Play that there are things that we have held, things that we have chosen not to show during this E3. Of course, there will be more exciting news coming this year when our teams decide it is ready to share it. It seems like Sony did not want to share the limelight with Microsoft or Nintendo, and Jim Ryan has echoed that, stating that Sony are gearing up to host their own showcase later this year, and you guys are not invited. So what do we think about Sony holding back games from E3? I know. Screw you guys. Are Sony becoming the bad guys? What happened to for the players? For the players.
We're reaping the benefits of that now. PlayStation gamers are loving it, man. I mean, of course, we all like the whole idea of the Xbox One X, but right now, PlayStation gamers have the games. I think that's very smart for Shuhei Yoshida to hold something. They got PSX coming. That's going to become, sooner or later, their premier showing. I mean, every year they show great things at PSX. They don't want to blow their whole load at E3 to try to compete with the Xbox One X when they can come out at the end of the year and really bring
new... Gamescom.
Yeah, I mean, they've got Paris Games Week. They got everything that they got to show stuff at. They can't just blow their load because there's a new console on the horizon that's being shown. And I think that's a smart thing to do. Not the villain thing.
the waves of doe-eyed ponies who were standing in the audience thinking Sony's going to win. Don't worry, they'll come. It's fine.
They didn't win. I mean,
they let you down.
I would have been in that audience like this too, man. What are you going to do? Sony didn't win, and you can't win every single show. You know, Sony's been winning E3 for the last 2 or 3 years. I'm happy that Microsoft came out and won. Microsoft did everything right this year, and I think it's good for everybody. You know, if Xbox loses every single year, everybody's going to lose excitement for that brand. The fact that they came out and reinvigorated their audience and brought people from PlayStation side over and got them excited about Xbox, I think it's great for everybody, man.
This story really is more about E3 and like the struggles of trying to put on a conference where everybody has to share this limelight rather than like looking at Sony individually. Because if I was running Sony, I would be way more interested in, you know, having all the attention to myself at an event like, you know, they have in December.
PSX.
Yeah, at PSX. Or, you know, like if I'm going to show off my new console, have an event where all the gaming
everybody's there
press
for you.
Yeah. As opposed to where Xbox has to, the way they did it is they had to share, you know, all of their attention with everything else that happened in E3. And, I mean, how many people are really talking about Xbox One X right now? A lot of people are talking about this game, that game, I saw this, I saw that. The Xbox One X isn't really getting that big a discussion.
Absolutely right.
If Xbox had announced that or shown it off at an event in August like Sony had, would it be a different story? I don't know.
What do you think about it, Gary? Do you think that Sony's really being a victim here, or was that just the talking point of the article?
I feel like Sony are maybe going against the spirit of E3 a little bit in what they've done. I think E3 was always this big bombastic show. You can talk about it from a business perspective, but I think E3 is hopes and dreams. And they seem to be bringing it hard enough at E3 when they needed the publicity and the positive sentiment. Now that they're in an advantageous position, they seem to be reeling in and waiting for moments to shine when it's the PlayStation exclusive experience. So, I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's whether or not you subscribe to conference mentality.
Well, I was realize how dusty this monitor was.
Now, let me just get this out of the way. I was 100% wrong on Sony revealing a PS5. Let's just put that behind us. But there is a possibility that they could have a future development where they do tease a future PlayStation console. Would it be wise for them to have done it at E3 or maybe later on in the year? What if they do decide to tease something at the end of PSX? All that hype, all that excitement is going to go right back to PlayStation. It's not checkers, man. It's chess. Sometimes it doesn't appear right.
Vita 2.
God damn it, Gary.
Talking about sequels, Beyond Good and Evil 2 had a tech demo gameplay reveal and has also had a tweet, which was since deleted by Ubisoft Spain, confirming that the game will be coming to PC, PS4, Xbox One, and wait for it, Nintendo Switch.
Damn,
the gameplay
really?
looked fantastic. It looked like one of the best looking games I've ever seen, so I don't know how the hell it's ever going to go onto the Switch. But did you guys see that tech demo?
I did.
Yeah.
With the monkey flying, yeah, it was unbelievable.
I got to fly that monkey. I don't know what he's doing or where he's going, but I'm going to fly him. God damn it. It's going to happen. Next headline, Destiny 1 is dead. Long live Destiny 2. I think it's finally fair to say Destiny is dead. You know, in October, you can turn back and say you still play that dead game. It's officially happening.
Right? Yeah.
Gone. In the TWAB post this week at Bungie this week, Deej, community manager, has outlined plans for the end of life of Destiny 1. These include emblems and, as of yet, unreleased tokens of recognition for players who have played the first game. So there's a series of different emblems that you can be awarded. And, Briar, if you want to elaborate, we can. But the main news story here is that Bungie have outlined the events that will continue in the first game may not be the fan favourites of Iron Banner and Trials of Osiris, which will actually have a last date, I believe, to be August 11th for Trials and even earlier for Banner. So staples of Destiny 1 will not be playable moving forward in September. What do we think about this?
That sucks.
Yeah, I don't like... They
That
did
sucks.
this with the Xbox 360 and the PS3 as well.
Mm-hmm.
When they got left behind at Rise of Iron, they took away some of the activities that were previously available and paid for by the players.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I don't really dig on this. I mean, sure, most people are going to move on to Destiny 2, so it's probably not going to affect too many people. But not everybody's going to move on to Destiny 2. Some people are going to have to wait till Christmas or birthday to get Destiny 2. And they already have Destiny 1, and they want to keep playing with their friends, you know, Trials of Osiris and Iron Banner and Nightfalls and Bungie taking that stuff away, I don't know. It struck me as kind of shitty when they did it to the 360 and PS3 players, and now they're doing it to all Destiny 1 players, and it still strikes me as shitty.
That, yeah, 100% agree with you.
They're taking away Iron Banner and Trials in August, but they're giving back with the PlayStation exclusives in October. So, you know, the Lord taketh and the Lord giveth back. So it's all good, you know.
Yeah, I know. Xbox players are very relieved to finally get those exclusives after 2 years. I mean, I don't want to say jumping for joy, but I feel like that's the sentiment I've been reading on Reddit and Twitter.
Well, they can finally take their Jade Rabbit into Trials. Oh no, they can't.
Oh wait, yeah, no,
yeah, no.
Or well, Iron. Oh no, not Iron.
That's so fucked up.
It's all good. They can visit Xur every week, though. They can visit Xur, so that's something.
Yeah, Xur will stick around.
This next news article actually made me a little bit angry. And you know, I've never been an internet warrior, but I feel like we should all be concerned about the business practices here. Konami assholery ascends to new heights as they move to blacklist employees. Following the Kojima-Konami split, more news has leaked, which certainly does not paint Konami as Employer of the Year. The Nikkei Asian Review reports, this is factual, that Konami has been issuing formal written complaints to any company that hires any of their former fired employees who are loyal to Kojima. In the note, Konami refers to the former employees as ex-cons of the business who were forbidden to put Konami experience on their public resumes and are recommended to not be employed by any other Japanese organization.
These motherfuckers, man, excuse my language, they're blacklisting people. Konami has to be the most vindictive and petty video game publisher I've ever known of in my entire life.
Konami are the type of company that would chop your dick off and throw it from a moving vehicle. Like, that is the type of company.
Lorena Bobbitt. And see, I've said this in the past, Gary. They remind me of a spiteful and vindictive ex. The one that you'll see in your Twitter feed, or the one that you'll see in your Facebook posts, dissing you every chance they get. A person that comes to your house at 2 a.m, beats on your front door. You come to the door and say, I left some socks under your fucking table. That is Konami.
At what point do we as gamers basically just boycott Konami? Like at what point do we just say, you know what, it doesn't matter if you do another Castlevania or another Metal Gear Solid, we're not buying it because you're shitheads and we don't want to support you.
Yeah, I agree with you, Briar. There's only one thing they could do that could like make me rescind that temporarily is like if they remastered Symphony of the Night. If they did that, I would have to say, I fucking hate you. But you used a cheat code this one time?
So basically, you have no conviction.
Symphony of the Night, right?
It's a serious asshole move to not just go after Kojima. I completely understand that they've got a grudge with him and for right or wrong reasons. But any affiliated employees who they deemed as loyal to Kojima who left after the split are now being targeted. And for any future endeavors. They called them ex-cons who are forbidden to put Konami experience on their resumes because they would deny all knowledge of those individuals.
You have to think, guys, that there's no one in a position of management or upper management at Konami that is vetting these decisions. It's like they've got people in middle school making these executive decisions that are going out to the public sphere and making this company look more and more like shit every year. Unbelievable.
Interesting story. From one bad publicity move to another, GTA 5 may have finally killed mods. Publisher Take-Two this week has shut down several popular mods. Open 4, which was the big one, which let people make like, you know, Tron maps and Sky maps and all sorts of crazy interesting things, has been given a cease and desist and shut down, which has prompted fans of, I guess, GTA Online to Take-Two review bombing anything made by or published by Take-Two or Rockstar en masse. It was actually Rockstar supported Take-Two's decision by saying it was done to prevent cheaters in GTA Online, but this really wasn't the case because Open 4 created numerous of the top 10 single-player mods, including Electronic Arena. So what do we think? Why have they, gone to kill this mod creation tool when previously Rockstar and Take-Two have been touting it as an expression of creativity in the community when they were trying to drive sales for GTA Online?
GTA 6 is on its way. We want to make sure people are ready for it. We want to make sure that, we're gonna, all these people playing GTA 5, there's got all this new content. We're making all this new content for GTA 6. Come on over to the new game. You don't want to play that old shit.
It's been how many years since GTA 5? I want to say 2013 is when it came out. Yeah, so we're probably right on the cusp of GTA 6. That's probably probably the perfect reason for this to happen, Briar. Now I haven't played the game in so long. You know, I had no idea all this stuff was still going on with Grand Theft Auto 5.
I mean, as far as I'm understanding it, obviously 2013, I believe, was the PS3 Xbox 360 version, but the PC version's not been out for a huge amount of time. And GTA Online
like a year later, right? Or was it 6 months later?
I think a couple of years later or something.
A couple?
Because I thought it got ported to the PS4 and Xbox One, and then the PC version came out subsequent to that.
Yeah, maybe 2015-ish, yeah.
But GTA Online's really found legs. You know, things like I saw King Deathalion playing GTA Roleplay, which is like a huge sub-genre that's happened now, where people create these servers and then agree to roleplay certain... It's huge. I mean, GTA Online still continues to grow and grow and grow. And the fact that they're killing these modding tools that allow that sort of creativity is really a slap to the face of the community. So, yeah, maybe not the wisest move. We'll see what happens with that, but see if you guys are right with GTA 6.
Do you think it's possible that GTA 6 could be on the horizon, Gary?
Possibly.
I mean, it's been a number of years now.
I would have thought Rockstar are pushing all their resources towards Red Dead Redemption 2 at the moment, but I could be wrong. Talking about things that will be in short supply, we may not get sequels for GTA, and we're certainly not getting much Switch stock. Financial analyst Daniel Ahmad has shared that the NAND memory, I guess, chip, is being monopolized by Apple in the production of iPhone 8s. So if anyone cannot get their Switch through 2017 and is going to have to wait till the 2018 shortage season ends, please send angry letters to Apple, because they are responsible for you not having a Switch directly, and tell them that the Beastly Thoughts crew said so.
In unrelated news, the price of headphone jackets has plummeted, as apparently there's plenty of headphone jacks to go around. They're just bountiful and plentiful, unlike NAND flash.
The NAND memory. Okay. Briar has Apple on his speed dial. He can call him. He has every Apple product.
That's not true. To be honest with you, BC, I've really been falling out of my love affair with Apple over the last couple of years. They don't make computers that really work for me anymore. I went ahead and bought a Windows 10 PC for streaming and for gaming.
Do you
frankly
use it
got
for
another
other
one
things?
coming soon.
Wow.
Yeah.
They lost
iPhone is really the last thing I'm using on a regular basis. I use the iPad a little bit to read magazines and stuff, but I still use my Mac for editing video because Final Cut Pro X is amazing.
God, it's fast.
So, Executive VP of EA, Patrick Soderman, has made a crazy, outlandish claim that I've never heard anyone make about any video game series ever. He claimed that Anthem will be a 10-year journey, touting Microsoft as the premier partner for the franchise on that journey. I mean, who would be crazy and stupid enough to say any game could be a 10-year journey? Really?
Ridiculous. Dude,
ridiculous.
All they got to do is just plot the same course that Destiny did, right? All they got to do is just say all the same shit that Destiny was saying before release, but then actually deliver a full game, and they'll just be like, the world will just be open to them like an oyster.
If Anthem launched with a 12-month exclusive content for Microsoft, it would just be perfect. It couldn't be much better.
That's actually, I like this kind of stuff, is like to find out that, yeah, they do have a plan for a game, moving forward. Sure, we've heard some bad stuff about like that kind of a thing. But to me, it like to start a franchise and have like a kind of multi-game story, kind of plotted out, and like not expansions, but like an expansive world that we'll get to explore over time. That's actually really exciting to me, as opposed to, we made a game, it was really popular, how do we make a sequel to it, like a BioShock 2 kind of thing, right? Where I don't know, it seems smarter, like you look at like the Marvel universe right now, where they planned out this like multi-year, multi-movie, plot line, and if done well, that stuff could be really cohesive and really fun. If done shitty, it can fall apart.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Well, I mean, To me, it's like a long-term investment, Briar. You know, I didn't get into Destiny the same way you did, but there are lots of people who did and who play games like The Division, which of course is a failure. Yeah, I mean, it's a long, drawn-out kind of experience, and a lot of people enjoy that. It's like watching your own soap opera, but it's one that you can play. It's something new. They're constantly introducing new aspects of the game, new materials into the game, new storylines and plot twists. To a lot of gamers, man, that's kind of the dream. It's old school was like the soap operas. Now it's Destiny.
I mean, Destiny's got a plan. Anthem's got a plan. Division had a plan. I mean, shit, OJ had a plan, but he's in a Whitefall Bronco gunning it down the interstate.
Did he have a plan? I think that man's actions mark an individual that did not have a plan.
He didn't have no fucking plan.
The glove does not fit. You must acquit.
Must acquit.
To no one's surprise, COD 4 Modern Warfare has got a standalone release. Physical and digital release on June 27th for PS4 and Xbox One has been confirmed at $40.
$40?
Not including any of the additional map packs or DLCs, which will be sold separately.
Oh my god.
Is this price too high? What do we think? Should it have included the DLC? And does this damage the goodwill that the COD brand has been getting from World War II?
I'm not buying it. I mean, it should be a $24.99 game.
$40 plus an additional $20 for map packs.
Yeah,
that's $60.
If they had added in the map packs, $40 seems reasonable to me.
Yeah, but $40
it's a little high though. Honestly, I mean, it's a remaster. It's a almost year-old remaster of a 10-year-old game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a little high.
With map packs that were in the original game, yeah. I feel like it should be a Game of the Year edition, like you say, that comes with all the DLC wrapped up nicely in a bow, if you didn't want to buy Infinite Warfare. But, yeah, I don't know. It feels to me like I said, this could be damaging the COD brand, because they're riding high on this World War II news. Everything's been positive about COD so far. You know, since the debacle of Infinite Warfare and the reveal of World War II, people have said good things. And this is probably the first news story that's going to be negative about COD. So we'll see where that one goes. The other news story is a bit out of the blue. Did you guys see Sega launches Sega Forever or Sega Forever?
I'm playing it.
Yeah, free collection of retro games on mobile phones.
It's awesome.
So what Sega are doing is they're releasing games free of charge, classic games on their mobile phones, which will have full controller support and cloud saves. The first 5 include Altered Beast, Kid Chameleon, and Sonic the Hedgehog. The catch here is that the games are completely free but ad supported. If you want to make a $1.99 one-off purchase, you can play them infinitely. All of the new games that are added completely ad free.
That's dope awesome, as shit, man. That's amazing.
Altered Beast, baby. I've been going off in Altered Beast.
Yeah. Oh man, I haven't played that since I had it on Genesis, man.
Yeah, it's like the arcade perfect version of the game.
Oh, it's the arcade version?
No, it's a Sega Genesis version, I believe. But it's awesome, man. I've been playing that one, and you get ads after every level, so it's really not a real issue.
You gonna pony up the $2?
No, I ain't paying for that shit. I got a Sega Genesis. But
you're a real gamer supporting the community and developers.
Don't you diss me. I got 5 kids. I got college to pay for. Shit.
And that $2 is paying for all of them to go to college right there.
Hey, man, who knows how much college courses are going to cost in the future, Gary? Now, let me just say this, though. The Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons can actually work with this thing as well. So you can use those as Bluetooth controllers for your phones.
Really?
They just came out with an article. That. Yeah, and a lot of people are using it. It's called The Perfect Marriage Between Nintendo and Sega. So you can use those to play these old school Sega Genesis games from your phone, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, any Bluetooth controller can be supported on it. So you can actually use a PS4 DualShock 4 to play them as well, providing it syncs with your phone.
Dude, this to me is more interesting than the Switch going to traveling. Because like I've played Zelda, right, and I don't have another game right now for Switch that I want to play. I'm hoping that the Virtual Console like comes out, or whatever that new Nintendo thing is going to be, that you can play older games. But I'm going to Guardian Con this week, and I'm thinking, man,
Sega Forever.
Bring a PlayStation 4 and play some Sega games on the plane.
So, for anyone that's looking forward to the Guardian Con podcast of the DCP, Brian will not be attending because he's going to be completing Kid Chameleon.
Perfect. Downloading it right now.
So, more news that's going to Pete Briar's. I pretty much put the news together and then think, what could Briar be interested in? And this next story is one of his. Randy Pitchford, CEO of Gearbox, has offered to publish Hitman. IO Interactive are no longer the nomadic wanderers. Pitchford tweeted a congratulatory tweet to the developer saying, please reach out when you need publishing support and want a private, not publicly traded partner. This was both in support of the studio and a slight at investor-centric practices of publishers such as Square Enix, EA or Activision. So Gearbox being a private company, not a publicly traded company, can obviously give IO the creative freedom they need to and not push them with sales deadlines and the same sort of deadlines that you need with a PLC. So I'm
happy for
Gearbox.
IO. Like, things really seem to be going their way. They made an awesome game with Hitman, and it seems like while it didn't pay off while they were with Square, it seems like it's actually paying off long term. Is that they are gonna actually get out of a contract that maybe was a little harsh with Square, and they're keeping their IP, and they've got interested parties willing to work with them. That's great news. I'd like to see people's hard work be rewarded. It just makes me feel good.
They might not have worked very hard, right? They might have just been exceptionally talented people. They might have been half-arsing it and doing half days and pulled that out. We don't know.
We're working 10-hour work weeks and just making magic. Making magic happen.
That's it. They subcontracted out to Chinese developers. That's it. They did nothing.
You guys ever hear about that guy? He worked for an IT company in Silicon Valley, and he basically subcontracted out his own job to a guy in India and paid him a quarter of what he got paid to do the job in America, and got caught.
Damn.
Yeah.
That'd have been a good couple of years before you got caught, though, wasn't it?
I don't know how long it was, but guess where his job went?
Yeah.
You just proved that you are useless.
I wonder if they brought the Indian guy to Silicon Valley or just kept him out there and, just continue paying him a quarter of what they were paying the other guy. Fantastic.
I don't know.
Capitalism at work.
Damn.
I'd like us to all get our world's smallest violins ready here, because we're going to hear the cries of ponies everywhere, universally, as we make this announcement. It looks like Battlegrounds is going to be a brand exclusive on the Xbox family and Windows PC. The Express has reported that they have confirmation from Bluehole that the game will not be coming to PS4 at this time, despite confusing labelling at the E3 conference. Ponies Everywhere did get a slight ray of hope from a further statement that Bluehole made, where they stated, "We are always looking at various platforms to potentially introduce our game, but have no further plans at this moment. Battlegrounds has shifted 4 million copies since entering early access 3 months ago, and will be hitting Xbox Game Preview later this year with a full release 2018. What do we think about this?
Fucking awesome, man. Xbox needs games like this that'll drive people out there to buy. I mean, this is a big deal for me. I love PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. I suck on PC, so finally I get an opportunity to play it in my native land, the console space. And there's probably a lot of people who feel that way. And I think that if it was coming to PlayStation, it'd be an easy win for Sony, even if it came out a little bit later. The fact that this is sticking with Xbox is more of a reason for people to say, oh, I need to have the Xbox One, I need the Xbox One X or the Xbox One S because PUBG's coming to it. It's a huge get.
You said you play it on your native land. You did hear the announcement this wasn't coming to Sony. This is
damn!
Microsoft.
My bad, man. My bad.
Hey, Gary, does the Zim 4 work with Xbox One?
It works on everything. It actually works on PC as well, strangely enough. I know. That's like Inception level shit. People were actually going to be using it to cheat in Destiny later this year. You can actually plug a controller into the PC and get aim assist. And then you can plug a Zim into that controller and use a keyboard and mouse anyway to get aim assist, but with native mouse and keyboard input. It's great. They did it in Overwatch to cheat in the beta. So we'll see what happens later. But yeah, no, Zim 4 works on pretty much.
Is that something you highly recommend, Briar?
No.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'll cheat on any platform you can offer me. It's fine. I have no qualms whatsoever. Sweet wins. Sweet wins. Talking about sweet wins, ZeniMax weren't content with winning $500 million in damages from Oculus. They are now going for a punch right in the dick. They are asking for 20% of the company's profits for the next 10 years, or blocking the sales of the HMD. They have also sought to increase their damages from $500 million to a cool $1 billion. Legal experts in corporate law are urging ZeniMax and Oculus to settle and focus on re-establishing working relationships for the benefit of all customers, employees, and shareholders. Why can't these two companies stop fighting each other? What do we think?
Well, I think they can't stop fighting each other because one of them had their IP stolen, their data stolen. It was used by a competitor. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of truth to that. We see what happened to Palmer Luckey. You know, this guy was known for, I guess, being kind of shady in that environment. And from what I understand, at least, he took a lot of data.
Guy sounds like he's got a name as like a 1800s poker player, like a cheating poker player, doesn't he? Palmer Luckey.
Yeah. I mean, the simple fact is ZeniMax feels like they were done wrong, and obviously there's a lot of people who agree with them. They won $500 million. They're like, okay, this is a pretty clear case. We won this much money. Let's either take 20% of the profits from the sales or get $1 billion. And if I was on
for both,
they're going for both.
Yeah.
That's hardcore, man.
They're going hard.
That's hardcore.
I mean, the reason that this is an interesting point is that ZeniMax, through Bethesda, are actually doing a lot of VR games, and things like Skyrim won't be coming to Oculus at the moment, as far as we know. Things that really should be. Fallout will have to be played via a third-party mod to make it work on the Oculus. And these are things that, again, the consumers are the ones that are missing out. The customers are missing out here, not anyone else. So legal experts are saying, you know, why can't you guys just settle and get this case done and move on?
Yeah, I mean, I understand that perspective. You know, the consumer, it'd be nice if we could all, you know, have access to everything. But in the midst of a bitter war between two gaming giants, you know, they got to hash it out. And if they're not willing to meet at the table and come up with a plan where they can, you know, do something behind closed doors, they've got to go through the system. And this shit is going to get rough from the sounds of it. It sounds like it's already really bad, but it sounds like it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better to me.
The last lawsuit didn't reflect kindly on Oculus or John Carmack or Palmer Luckey. I mean, it didn't. You know, John Carmack came out and tried to defend himself, but it sounded like he had stolen data, right?
Yeah,
it sounded like he had walked with data and then used it for Oculus. And, you know, if at some point Facebook's got to say, you know, we really think this is going to be the future, but you guys really fucked this shit up.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's time to cut this whole Oculus brand and see what else is going on around the industry, because how much is Facebook going to pour into this in just lawsuit shit, you know? Like, never mind the R&D and the development and the... Man, you gotta...
Is it... Do you guys think that at some point in time ZeniMax is going to come out with an Oculus-style device?
No, I just think this is an easy way for them to capitalize the business. I don't think they're interested in making a VR platform themselves. I think it was the software that would work with the hardware that is in question.
This sounds more to me, this sounds less about like patent trolling and trying to make a dime than it does, I fucking hate these guys and I want to kill them.
Yeah, honestly, if I,
like,
I want one bill,
I don't want to take their money. I want to take their
life,
their everything. I want to crush these guys. That's what it sounds like to me.
Jeez.
We'll see what happens with it. I mean, it was only one Texas court that settled the original $500 million. There were multiple other courts that were, you know, in deliberation on it. Mm-hmm. They had several different cases going, and some of them they wanted like $3 billion up front. You know, it was this particular case that landed. And let's be fair, Oculus have not paid a cent of that $500 million yet. It's still in, you know, contested.
Like I said, though, even when John Carmack, you know, wrote that open letter to defend himself, like, he admitted to having taken data.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I think it's the question here, without getting too deep on the corporate law, is if you leave a company and you worked on something and you developed that technology, at what point is it
yours
fair?
Or the company's? Yeah,
at what point is it your intellectual property? If you lift and shift, fine, but if you take what you've learned and deploy it into a competitor's tool, then I guess, is that all right? I mean, I know from my industry, the financial services sector, if I have knowledge from one bank and then I leave and take that knowledge and help them build a product at another bank, that's just fair business. Whether or not it's expertise that I've learned at one place, that's kind of how the business works.
Because banking is shady as fuck. But when you look at the video game industry,
Basically, you make a strong point here.
Yeah. Hideo Kojima was the brainchild, the creator of the modern Metal Gear series. What happened there? He was the one who crafted that game from start to finish. He left Konami and he can't do anything with it. I mean, and he's the one who made the game. So I think that Carmack and Lucky really screwed the pooch and did some shit they weren't supposed to do.
We'll see where this settles. Do you think it's time for us to stop arguing about VR and start arguing about the price of games? What do you think?
Prices!
Fantastic. Well, we've got a good roundtable here for you guys. It's looking at why do games still cost $60? One of these days, we will get a voting system for people in chat so that you guys can decide who won. Hopefully, will come in the future, but we're not going to make any more promises. You guys can just leave comments in the chat and we will gleefully ignore them. So let's kick off with a nice intro. So,
no, I'm going to look at the chat. You guys hit us up in the chat. I will be monitoring
Beastly,
the chat.
our man on the scene, our man in the chat.
Here. I'm here.
Beastly Gamer, he's watching it like a hawk. Right.
I didn't think you know how to find my channel on Twitch, so I'm impressed.
Gary sent me a link.
If you click subscribe, Briar gives you $5 a month, just to let you know.
I clicked it 10 times.
So let's set the scene here. Why do games still cost $60? Publishers have set this as the market price since the launch of the PS3 Xbox 360 generation almost 12 years ago, way back in 2005, which I think Robbie was born around then, actually, somewhere near there. Adjusting for inflation, the real cost of games should have increased by about 41%, bringing the sticker price on a game to $85. So where is that extra $25 being made up? The answer, the dreaded Season Pass, DLC, and microtransaction. The first modern Season Pass was introduced in 2011 by Rockstar Games under the title of L.A. Noire that offered a $10 discounted pass to get 4 exclusive post-launch missions. This opened the floodgates to developers who quickly realised they could double the game's sticker price on release day, so there was the promise that was there of drip-fed content at some point down the line. Now, Season Passes are now commonplace amongst AAA releases, with the average Season Pass costing $40 and microtransactions adding even more icing on the proverbial cake. A study by marketing firm Sverve found that in 2016, the average amount spent per gamer on microtransactions in a given game was $24.33, bringing the total cost fully loaded of a game in 2017 to $125. As the developers shift to games as a service, offering the bulk of their content as purchasable DLC in post-sales phase, coupled with more intrusive microtransactions, do we as a group feel that developers have made the right move in keeping the initial purchase price low and backloading post-sales charges, or would we be happier to pay a large chunk of change upfront, knowing that our wallets remain untapped in the future?
I think they've made the right move. I actually don't have a problem with this at all. I'm not a huge fan of the Season Pass. I'm not a huge fan of the pre-order stuff.
Agreed.
But the fact that games are still $60, and you quote the PS3 and Xbox 360, but I remember games for the PS2 and the Xbox being $60 as well. Some games were $50, some games were $60, depending on where they came from. And even going back as far as the Sega Genesis, I remember paying $80.
Super Nintendo.
Yeah, I remember paying $80 for a cartridge. So in some respects, the games are actually cheaper than they used to be, because when they moved to CDs and DVDs, it got a lot much cheaper to manufacture. But the actual development cost has gone up.
Yeah.
Because now you have 3D worlds that need to be fully fleshed out, and you got multiple artists, working on 4K textures and
assets.
The models have to be so much more detailed because the consoles and the PCs are so much more powerful. It's hugely time intensive and labor intensive to make these things, and the games have to be broader in scope. So you have to have, programmers just making like these huge, complex open worlds. So the cost is going up to develop it. So how, what do we do? Are you forced to sell 10 million copies to make your money back? Or do you try and get a little bit of extra money off of the people who really enjoyed what you did? And that's where microtransactions and DLCs and season passes come in. And while I don't like when these things can break the balance of a game and force people to pay extra to stay competitive. I don't mind throwing a few bucks Destiny's way to buy an emote or a shader, or if I'm playing Horizon and I really enjoyed it, I don't mind paying a little extra to get a DLC. And I think it's all fair because this stuff costs so much more than it used to develop. They've got to figure out a way to pay for it.
Briar, wow, I couldn't have said that any better. I 100% agree with virtually everything you said there. For me, I remember back in the day where Super Nintendo games were $79. And I was a kid, and I had to wait for my mom or, a relative to buy it or wait for Christmas, but the games were damn expensive growing up. And for me, the $60 price point has been pretty standard for probably the last 20 years. Dreamcast games were $60. PlayStation 2 games were $60. PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and now PS4 games. But something that didn't exist in the past, like Briar alluded to, is the whole season pass and DLC. And to me, it makes perfect sense because if you play a game and you enjoy that game and that game world, something like Horizon Zero Dawn, I'm looking forward to the DLC. I really enjoy playing that game. And so for people who like particular games and they want to continue to support that developer, there's that option. And I think that it would be wrong to, in my own opinion, make a game $80 or $90 just off, I guess wanting to inflate the price to recoup the cost for developers because a person might not like a game nearly as much. And so to me, it makes perfect sense to keep it at $60 rather than jump it up to $80 or $90 and give people the option to buy emotes and buy visual flourishes for a game and support that developer that way. I want to also real quickly say that in the comments section, our good friend Wilson has left a link, guys, for you guys to click on the link, and you can all vote today on what you think about the price of games, whether or not the prices are just right, they should cost more, they should cost less. So you guys start clicking on that now.
Thanks, Wilson.
Wilson's a fucking man.
It's actually not a straw poll at all. If you click it, there's multiple links and viruses.
God, there's so much porn here.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't know you could do those sorts of things with a donkey. I'm pretty impressed.
I did.
Yeah, so from my perspective, I guess it's less about should the sticker price be higher or lower, but is the sticker price still the right thing to do? So there's been experiments with games as a service before. So gaming is the only stalwart left in the industry that we are uncomfortable about paying a service model for. So every single gaming streaming service, even ones that are technically functional, so GeForce Now is a great service. It streams with almost no latency, but people are uncomfortable to pay monthly for games. So Netflix, you think nothing about. Hulu, you'll pay for it. Crunchyroll, pay for it. Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, all of these are services that people would not think about buying a CD, digitally. You wouldn't buy an album on iTunes when you could just stream it. Why would you? I'd pay $10 a month and I'd have as much as I want to consume. Would we be comfortable shifting to a model whereby we purchased something like EA Access, let's say, or EA Origin, or whatever it wants to be, whereby you could subscribe to a developer and get their catalogue moving forward for as long as you wanted to do it, if you had a subscription for that particular developer that you were a fan of?
I'll tell you what the problem is, Gary.
That would be a bad
I wouldn't
idea.
do this. I would hate this because what you're describing isn't getting a Netflix or a Hulu. It's getting an individual subscription
Developers.
to CBS, ABC, History Channel, like every single fucking one of them. And all of a sudden you got all these little money leeches on you. And before you know it, you're spending $150 a month on, what you used to get for $100 a month when you had cable. I wouldn't mind, like, if the platforms did it, like PlayStation did
PlayStation
it,
or
Xbox did it. But when individual developers or publishers start doing it, I'm not fucking interested because there's just too many of them, and I want to be able to play games from all sorts of them.
And another real issue with having a developer that you pay a monthly or annual fee for is that developers don't make games every month. If you're paying for a game, if you're paying for a subscription for a game, developers take time to release games. Now, if you're talking about an indie developer who can get a game out to you every 3 or 4 months, that'll be worth it. But most developers release one game a year, if that. So what are you paying for?
What about then if we work on this idea? I'm just trying to find something that's you know, an alternative.
I see your
and
wheels turning,
changes
Barry. I
the
see your
world.
wheels turning.
You mentioned, Briar, about you know, Comcast cable and, you know, satellite packages. What about if Sony or Microsoft could sign deals for certain genres of games? So you say, I'm a sports fan, I'm going to get the sports package. Every sports game that comes out, I'm going to be getting monthly. You know, I buy a 12-month subscription to sports games.
I'm still not interested because I play Madden. And if I can play, I play Madden all year round. That's my game. I don't play FIFA. I don't play MLB. I don't play hockey because those aren't my games. I play Madden. I can buy Madden for $60, or I could pay $10 a month for a year and pay $120 for Madden. I think it works best. This model would work in certain regards. Like if Nintendo did it, then I could see it working. If Nintendo decided to charge $15 a month and you get access to, you know, the Virtual Console catalog, I could see it working. But I don't think there's that many people that could do it and do it right or make it a value.
Okay. So why is it that you're comfortable doing that with media, but you're not comfortable doing that with games media?
Because it has a cost for me, but it also came at the benefit of saving me a shit ton of money. Where I used to have $100, it was a $120 cable bill per month.
Ouch.
I cut the cord, right? And now I pay, actually I cut Hulu out too. So now I only have Netflix and I have Amazon Prime. And then anything I want to supplement, I buy piecemeal. If I want to watch, let's say The Walking Dead, I either buy the full season or I buy it per episode until I realize this season's going to suck just as bad as the last one and I stop watching it. But what was happening to me is that I was paying all this money and I wasn't actually watching any content. So being able to just piecemeal pick it out, like if I want to watch Breaking Bad, it's on Netflix. I could pay $15 a month and have hundreds of thousands of hours of content, or I could pay $100 a month and watch Breaking Bad, you know, when it's on. And to me, the value proposition is so much simpler to just have Netflix. But I don't see these guys offering that value proposition. Nintendo could, but I don't see.
Xbox.
The other problem is they also make less money on this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
You talk to the people who make music. You talk to, you know, anybody in a band. They make less money than they used to make in the 90s when everybody bought CDs, right?
Yeah.
The movie industry makes less money. The TV industry makes less money. So I don't know that this is actually in the game industry's best interest either. Maybe for older stuff. But I mean, like if you had back catalog games.
Absolutely.
Maybe. But if you put
the
newest stuff.
Briar,
I just don't know how sustainable this is. Sorry, BC, but I'm just why we're suggesting other things is that at the moment you're happy to pay a $60 sticker price, but as development costs increase exponentially with games, there's going to come to a point where the DLC and the season pass is going to be 2 and 3 times the price of the game. And that happened with Fire Emblem recently, that the game was $40 and the season pass was, I think, $65 or $70. And people went crazy. They're like, oh my God, like, why are you charging me so much? But the content was so heavily weighted. You know, they created almost an entire game again in season pass. So what you're going to do, if you keep the sticker price at 60, you're just going to have to keep making that season pass more and more expensive.
Raise the price. I mean, if you look at the value proposition you get from the average video game, let's say you put, I don't know what's the average hours for a video game. I mean, some are as little as 6 hours. Some you put 1,000, 2,000 hours into. But let's say you got 100 hours of enjoyment out of a video game, and you charge $100 for that video game. That's $1 a minute. How much? Or $1 an hour? How much? You know, how much are you paying for a movie? If you go to the movie theater, you pay what, $13 for
2 hours.
For 2 hours, so that's $6 an hour, right? $6.50 an hour. So it's actually, even at $100, you're still getting a value with that video game. I think, you know, if they need to, I want to keep playing video games, and I want people who make video games to be successful in life because they do a great job. So if they need to raise the prices, fucking raise the prices.
And the same way that prices are lower, Briar. I mean, certain developers release games like Friday the 13th. It wasn't a complete package. The developer felt that way, it came out at $40. Rather than $60. It doesn't have to be ubiquitous across the board. I think $60 is just a standard that everybody's used to, that very few people raise question about. We've been doing it for years.
Somebody's going to have to be the first one to bite that bullet, and they're going to get a world of fucking
They're going to
hate.
get fucked. They're going to get fucked.
Man. Nobody wants to be that first guy.
Yes. Nintendo have already looked at doing that, at least in the UK. A lot of the Switch games... In the UK, a lot of the Switch games are launching at £60, which is, what, $75, $80?
Wow.
So, you know, at least for us in the UK, we've already seen that that jump. One more area that I guess want to hit on this before we consult Wilson's straw poll and share with our listeners who won this debate. The other point, I guess, that you raised, Briar, is around time and time reward on play. What about if it was like a pay per hour kind of basis? So you could either buy the game outright, or to support the developer, you could say, I don't know if I'm going to like this game, but I'll give you $10 for 2 hours play. And then if I buy the rest of the game, that's refunded onto it. But there's no additional cost there. I'm just trying to give different ways to monetize this. Would you think that there could be a way to almost demo a game, but a paid for demo?
I don't like that idea because I don't feel good about paying for a beta. Although I'm paying for early access in PUBG and having the time of my goddamn life.
It could work, bro.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm super sensitive. I'm more sensitive to it right now too. You caught me on a funny day because I was just literally having a conversation about all of these little money leeches that we got sucked onto us that I want to start ripping off.
See, the thing is, right? Entertainment. The cost of entertainment shouldn't be ubiquitous across different forms of entertainment, because you can listen to a whole album and it might take you an hour, but you're still going to pay $15 for the album, right?
Yeah, but you listen to it multiple times, right?
Yeah, a movie is going to be 2 hours.
If you like it.
A book might take you 5 days, right? It's still entertainment. It's just a different type of entertainment. I think that the standard that's been set and that's been met for the last few years is going to stick around for a while. The first person that does do this, like Briar said, they're going to be at hell's gates when it comes to consumers. I think that only a handful of developers can actually do that and get away with it. Like CD Projekt Red could possibly do it.
People are so, Grand Theft Auto, they could do it.
Yeah, GTA, they could do it. Their games are so full of content and fully packed. But and we know the pedigree. But if another developer just were to come out and say, this is Ark Survival 2, $90, people would say, get the hell out of here.
GameStop put up their sticker price, $80 now on every game. But when you buy it, the cashier takes you around back and gives you a handy. How about now?
Only if the cashier is a female.
Yeah, I mean,
no, it's
my
a
local
big guy.
GameStop,
Big,
not a great
guy.
ratio.
Yeah, bro, you be in trouble.
Yo, how about I give you an extra 20 and we skip the hand job?
Yeah. Shit.
That's a great profitability. You know, that's it. GameStop just need to hire big, sweaty guys with hairy knuckles to offer that deal.
Yeah.
Oh, hairy knuckles. Oh, I'm back in.
Brian said it looks just like my own. There's nothing wrong here.
Just like Mama used to make.
Mama did make it, Brian. She did make it.
Now, the straw poll has closed now, so if you haven't cast your vote, then you've not only let us down, but you've let yourself down.
Yeah.
And the winning section with 58% of the votes is the cost is just right. So people seem to be comfortable with what we've got at the moment. Coming in second is they should cost more, and last place with 16% of the votes is they should cost less. So we have 0 entitled snowflakes in our chat. Everyone seems to want to pay more or think that we're doing very well. So you should all be universally proud of yourselves for that result. I think we've settled it. So Phil, if you're watching, Briar hasn't forgotten that night, and you know, you can now see that you can actually put your games up. You know, everyone's happy with them.
Good stuff.
What do we think? Do you think we should move on to some viewer questions?
Before we move on, I just want to thank Wilson. That was awesome. We really appreciate that, Wilson.
Yeah. Love you, buddy. Let's go kill
Wilson's
people together.
Wilson's the man.
PUBG.
I think we... don't know what we'd do without you in there. You're like an omnipresent person. Viewer questions. We're going to carry over 4 of them from last week because we didn't manage to answer them last time, and I felt like these guys had something that wanted to be said. So we're going to kick off with, who wants to read them? Do you want to read them, Beasley? I think you've got a sultry tone that I want to hear.
Do it.
Do it. All right, let me get to it. Viewer questions. First question is from James Byrne at Official K Burns. Assuming I have a new PC, i7 7700 GTX 1080 Ti, and I need a new monitor, what monitor would be best for Destiny 2 and why?
Destiny 2?
Yep.
Oh, man. Game runs at 4K at 60 frames per second and looks fantastic. Depending on your budget, I'm putting a stretch goal out there of 4K. I'm putting a stretch goal out there of 4K, man. It looks stunning.
So I'm going to hard counter that. I'm going to do I guess a loop back to the head of the show when we said that 60 hertz just isn't enough hertz. If you're a PC gamer with that spec,
it's the maximum the human eye can see, Gary.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got glaucoma, maybe, but I mean, this is just not what we want here. GTX 1080 Ti, you're going to be pushing a hell of a lot of frames at 1440p. So whilst the monitor that I recommended, the Asus at the start, any 1440p 144 hertz monitor that you think is a good value proposition for you would be the sweet spot for me. You know, if you're going into Crucible, if you're going to be wanting the smoothest experience, try to get a minimum 120 hertz monitor.
I think you got the right idea, Gary. Is look at your price, your budget, and hit the look. First criteria is 144 hertz. Second criteria, G-Sync. Third criteria, IPS. Fourth criteria, resolution. That's what I'd be kind of moving in that direction. But I have played Destiny 2 in 4K at 60 frames per second. And
look at his smile.
Not gonna lie, it was fucking awesome. I mean, it was literally... I've told this story before, but like everybody who walked around the corner and saw the monitors was like, it was like universal. Everybody who walked around the corner, it was like this slack jaw. I'm like, holy shit.
In the perfect world, you'd have your 4K 60 for the campaign and for strikes, and you'd have your 144 hertz whatever for PvP. But you know, make your decision. Are you PvE or PvP?
All right. Next question is by Trapstar Steven. Is it worth buying a gaming laptop, or should I just build a custom PC? I'm a console man, but looking to make the switch. Let me just say this. I have a gaming laptop. It was sold as that and marketed as that. It's still fairly decent, but it's not worth it if you're
fine, right?
Yeah, I can play PUBG, but I mean, and I can play like Rise of the Tomb Raider and stuff on it fine. But when it comes to the power that you have in the box, it's always going to be that. You know, as technology moves forward and the hardware moves forward, you're going to be left in the past. You won't be able to upgrade your well, you can upgrade your RAM, but you can't upgrade your GPU. And certain aspects that are interchangeable on regular desktops just do not exist on most gaming laptops. So tread lightly and know that once you purchase something, that's going to be what you have for the life of that laptop. What do you guys think?
I think go with the laptop if there's something that absolutely mandatory means you need to have a laptop. Are you going to college? You need to use this for taking notes in class? Gotta go with a laptop. It's just, desktop's not going to cut it. You want to be able to bring your laptop to the library, do work at the library. You want to go to your friend's house and hook up the PCs and play together side by side. That's going to be a pain in the nuts with a desktop and a monitor. But if your main goal is playing video games, if your main goal is to get the best PC for the least amount of money, desktop is without a doubt the way to go. And fiddling around with the things may become a hobby for you. It may even become, something you really enjoy. Doing overclocking, playing with the coolers, buying water cooling, switching out the monitors because you want, maybe down the line you decide you want a 144 hertz monitor as opposed to a 60 hertz monitor. Switching out the graphics card when, new stuff becomes available. All that's possible on a desktop. It's not possible on a laptop. If there's a use case that requires you to have a laptop, get the laptop. If not, definitely go with the desktop.
To me, a gaming laptop is just one tiny tier above console peasant. So, it's up to you how you want to be seen. Do you want to have big swinging balls, or do you want to have tiny little acorns?
Hey, motherfucker.
I think we've addressed that question.
All right.
I guess so.
The next question is from Steeler30 at Steeler30. How big a deal is that Destiny 2 will not have beards for Guardians?
That's a fucking huge deal.
Beards for Guardians.
It's like the biggest. No Rumble. I can deal with it. What else has been taken out? No competitive playlists. All right. No fucking beards. Are you shitting me? You put the beards on the poster. You're advertised fucking beards. You put them on the poster, Bungie. You put them on the poster.
When
I
I
heard
saw
an
that,
interview
I
with
was like,
Luke
that's gonna be
Smith
awesome.
where he said if they'd added beard, you'd have dropped to 15 frames per second. So, you know, is it worth it?
That's dirty.
Maybe.
Beards.
Okay,
Beards.
next question is from at Markly Berman 7. Since Bungie has changed all the subclasses in Destiny 2, what do you think will happen to the Taken King subclasses? Will they even return?
DLC.
Probably.
I think they're
one
gonna
form or another. Yeah.
Yeah.
Modified. I mean, everything that we've gotten. Some things are very different, but everything seems familiar, right? You know, the Sentinel still has a Ward of Dawn bubble. The Dawnblade still has, the ability to float in air. You know, the Golden Gun still shoots a golden gun. You know, it doesn't seem like they're straying too far from what we used to have in Destiny 1. Yeah. They're keeping the themes, but moving forward, I think they'll probably continue to do so.
All right. Next question is from at Asrun Zuraf. With PUBG coming to the Xbox, what other PC games would you like to see migrate to consoles and why?
I'm not going to lie. I was reading chat. I missed the question.
With PUBG coming to the Xbox, what other PC games would you like to see migrate to consoles and why? I only know about PC games through word of mouth. I've never been a PC gamer. I know a lot of people are going to hate me for that. I've always been a console guy. So a lot of the stuff that's super big on PC, I really don't know about, and I apologize.
So, from my
Just being
perspective,
honest.
I'd like to see more MMOs make the shift because Final Fantasy XIV has shown me that a cross-platform MMO can work. So games like World of Warcraft, you know, they're at a point now where the visuals on them could easily be handled by current gen consoles with some concessions. Yeah. And there's such a wealth of content there. And I think console gamers are getting accustomed to the looter grind and playing a game that is just a grind-heavy game. So from my perspective, I know Black Desert Online is coming to Xbox. Don't know about PlayStation with that. But I'd like to see more MMOs make the transition. We're seeing survival games come over. So maybe that's the next thing.
Blade and Soul is an incredible MMO on PC. And that was one of the first ones I played when I bought this one. And graphically, it looks incredible. It looks like a PS4 Xbox One game. Well, I know that's a downgrade, but it's a great MMO. I'd love to see that come to console. Briar?
I want some of the VR stuff that I've played to come to console. I think some of that stuff is really phenomenal.
I'm sure.
And I'd
there
love to
is
see
one.
It. What's that?
The VR game where you freeze in time and when
Super Hot is coming to PlayStation. That's right.
That's coming to PlayStation.
Without a doubt, my favorite VR game ever. Like
really?
Oh my god, I love that game. It makes you feel. I don't know. It's a very cool experience, and it's very well executed on Steam and in the Oculus Store. It's a very cool game. So I'm really actually hyped that's coming to PSVR because that'll mean more people get a chance to play it. But like stuff like Onward, where you got like a realistic first person shooter, and you're running around holding the gun in front of you. That stuff is fucking awesome. I want the Xbox to get a VR solution first of all. And I want the PSVR to start getting some of this real fun experimental stuff that we're seeing on Steam. Because Steam is just, there's just tons of shit available for VR. A lot of it is really like small, tiny little experience that'd be hard to market on the PSVR, but at least there's experimentation. You get to play with it every once in a while.
Awesome. The next question is actually two questions from at HugoRune79. What is the worst game you've ever played, and what is the worst console slash and what is the worst console slash handheld you've ever owned?
Tiger Electronics Double Dragon.
Immediately off the show.
Okay, this is easy for me. This is absolutely very easy for me. The worst game I've ever played, I've ever owned, was Superman 64. I know a lot of people have heard about this game in the past.
You played that game?
I bought that game when it came out. I'm a huge Superman. I got a Superman tattoo. I mean, I was a huge fan of Superman. That game came out and it was based on the animated series, so I thought it was going to be awesome. And all you do is fly through rings the entire game, and it was just horrible. It controlled horrible. It felt horrible. And I still, in the back of my throat, feel throw up coming up because of how much I hated that game. The worst console/handheld I've ever owned, the Atari Jaguar would be a close second, but I have to give this to Tiger for the Tiger GameCon. The Tiger GameCon was a handheld that showed gray, kind of black and white, and it was kind of like the old school Tiger little handhelds you'd buy for like $10 at Walmart, but it had more power and actual cartridges. And I bought it because Resident Evil 2 came out on it. And never have you seen a shittier game. And I played it for about 10 hours. And I think I got maybe about halfway through the game before I put it aside. And I have no idea what happened to my GameCon. If you guys know your gaming history, you know the Tiger GameCon is an incredibly just horrible console. So that was my worst.
I had a lot of consoles. I think I've had most of the consoles that have come out. But I can't think of one that I regret getting. I had the Sega CD, the 32X.
You didn't regret the 32X?
Oh man, that was the first time I ever played Doom. I was
it was nice
for
on
Doom.
Yeah. That's a good point. Sega CD.
I loved it. I played Snatcher on Sega CD. One of my favorite games of all time.
One of them is being re-released. I don't know if it's Sewer Shark or Snatcher, but being re-released on PS4.
The first time I switched on PC and booted up a game, I immediately regretted all consoles with equal viciousness. Both
you sack of shit.
Handheld though, Vita, man, never regret that baby. I did actually regret the original 3DS, the first one. That was shit.
Really?
The original 3DS was awful. It was a really crappy vinyl plastic, bulky looking piece of crap with pointless 3D that no one ever used. So bad that they took it out of later models. You know,
what one was that? So there's the DS. That was the first clamshell design, right?
Then the DSi.
Huge thing.
The DSi. I bought the DSi. I think I regret that because I don't think I ever played a game that was actually a DSi game.
Yeah.
Yeah, me neither. Gary,
the DS Lite was nice. That was the good one. That was the nice GBA cart in it.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? In the DSi, it was really nice because it was black and it was flat black and it was comfortable. But you know what? I'm sorry, Nintendo. Never mind. I take it all back.
Gary, just quick question, Gary, because for the 3DS to be one of your worst consoles of all time, did you ever play like the Sega Game Gear or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, the Game Gear was great if you had a sack of batteries.
I got 2 of them right there.
If you had a sack of AA's next to you, you were fine. You were good to play for about 3 hours.
I had a rechargeable battery that was like this big, and it had a belt clip. It was literally like this big.
I can see Briar right next to Briar's fanny pack.
It was like the size of a 20-ounce Coke bottle. Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that triggered me with the 3DS was how garbage the unique selling point of it was. I bought it with Ocarina of Time, and I think I had it on 3D in the store, and then for about 2 hours afterwards, before realising this is shit, I just turned the 3D off, never used it again. And until they did revisions of the body, I wasn't really happy with it because I felt like they'd made significant concessions in graphics to get this thing 3D. And I think Nintendo have even admitted that it was a pointless direction to go. They like to innovate, but that was a bad innovation. So,
all right. So the next question comes from Arkham Knight 2. What video games have you guys bought on the Steam summer sale so far? Any recommendations?
Oh, boy.
I can go through all 152. If you guys have got half an hour, I can start.
Highlights.
Through them. I mean, like I said, I've just bought a lot of series. So if I've seen things like, I've got an OCD. If I like a game, I can't just buy Far Cry 3. I've then got to buy every single Far Cry that I've made. And Steam are great because they say, would you like to buy the bundle? And you're like, of course I'll buy the bundle. Why would I not buy the bundle?
Why not?
So yeah, I've bought a lot of things. Anything that's like Call of Juarez, I'm really excited about playing because that series, the Western shooter, have you guys played that, the first-person shooter?
No.
Oh, it's really good. The good thing about that series is that it started strong, got really shitty, and ended strong. So I get to play that slump.
That arc.
Yeah. Really good.
All right. So the next question is.
Hold on.
I'm sorry, Brian.
First of all, I didn't answer the question, but I got a follow-up question to Gary. What is the game that you bought that you know damn well you'll never play?
90% of them. 90%.
I just said 90 of them.
I bought a few of those like Baldur's Gate style games, like Pillars of Eternity, Path of the Exile, Grim Dawn, because I like action RPGs.
Yeah, they're great games, but man, their
time has passed. Yeah. Shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, what about you, Brian? What you got?
I bought Vanquished, which I'm actually really excited about. That's the old game, console only game that just recently got kind of remastered for the PC, and apparently it's fantastic. So I saw that come up for a Steam sale, and I was very excited to snatch it up. Actually, I'm lying. I don't even think that was on Steam sale. I think that was just I bought that at normal price. I bought XCOM 2, which I'm really excited about. I still haven't played that. I bought that for, I don't know, however much off. I bought Wolfenstein, The New Order, and The Old Blood. I'd already played The New Order, but seeing that trailer for Wolfenstein 2 got me really excited, so I decided to grab it and get the DLC, The New Blood, which I'd never played. And that's what's kind of sticking out in my head. I bought a couple other things too, but they're not. XCOM, though, I probably never will play it. I want to play it, but one of those games I'll probably just never get around to.
Yeah, I played XCOM too. It's one of those games I feel the same way. I'll just be totally honest. I was at the Steam summer sale today. I was looking through the games. My wife came and sat down here. I told you guys pre-show. She said, turn that shit off. And so, yeah, I want to stay married, so I had to come back to the PlayStation. I'll get back to you next week. The next question is from @Smiley. Do you think there will be a preload for Destiny 2 beta? If so, when?
I haven't heard anything about a preload, to be honest with you. Was there a preload for Rise of Iron? I can't remember.
Oh, I don't think so.
I don't remember. I don't know, to be honest with you. I haven't heard anything about it. I'd like to see it happen. I don't remember them ever doing it in the past.
Okay. Gary, you have any thoughts on it? I guess not. All right. So the next question comes from Evan Powers XX. After seeing the Xbox One X, how long do you think it will be before Microsoft leaves the idea of console generations behind in favor of more frequent incremental upgrades?
I don't think that's
more frequent
to be taken for granted at this point. I think they'll be doing a lot of research on how well this went over, how it affected their brand, how it's likely to affect their brand in the future, how successful it was for gamers, and how successful it was for developers. Did developers take advantage of that extra power? Did consumers find that there was value in that $500 console? I think I think they and Sony are both taking a kind of chance, but it's an experiment that we'll see if it's successful or not. Probably in a very long time from now, if we see a PlayStation 5 Pro or an Xbox 2X,
next,
yeah,
next. Just call it next.
I don't know. I think that we got to wait to see if they think it's a success or not.
It's not just the like Briar says, not just the Xbox One X. This is something that Sony's been looking at for a while too, with the PlayStation 4 Pro. The Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro have tons in common. The Xbox is just slightly more powerful, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, Gary, you have any thoughts on it? Okay, so Mr. BQNG says, have any of you played Revolt: Evolution of Gamers? If so, what do you think? He's waiting for the console release.
I am the evolution of gamers. I am literally a gamer evolved to at the highest level. I don't need any validation or explanation. That's how it is.
I love the next question, Brad, because I know it's aimed directly at you. At Serial6V16 asks, how long before the community finds things to complain about in Destiny 2?
We haven't even played it yet. We're already complaining.
Oh, wait. Never mind. Thoughts?
Yeah, we haven't even played it yet. People are already complaining.
Oh, wow. The next question is geared directly towards me, I guess. At Tucker35Ire says, pineapple on pizza, yes or no? Absolutely. Every pizza I eat has pineapple on it.
Fist
Boom,
bump
baby.
right there. Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. Fuck
Every
those
pizza has
pineapple
to have
haters.
pineapple.
Fuck them
Fuck
guys.
those bitches.
Fuck them bitches.
You know what? And if you buy a frozen pizza and you don't have a can of pineapple at home, you slipping.
Yo,
you slipping.
These dudes putting peas on pizza though. No.
What the fuck?
You've gone too far.
That's a
You
fail.
are. Yeah, you should have stopped at the avocado, motherfuckers. You Californian bastards.
Oh my God! This is directly for Briar. The last question of the day comes from DJ Man 22681. You know who that is.
Never heard.
Will there be a Pop-Tart breakfast hosted by Chef Briar at Guardian Con? If so, have the Florida State Fire Marshals been made aware?
DJ Man, I'm gonna hold that one off till 2018 when you can attend.
Just a Pop-Tart. Can't handle a Pop-Tart, Briar.
There was a small fire in the back of a Staples store one day. It may have been associated with me and a Pop-Tart.
Oh my God! And that's the last of our questions for today. Do you guys have anything you want to add? I gotta see Gary's face. He ain't saying shit.
I'm having a little bit of a emergency with a toddler and a wet mattress. So.
Oh shit! We'll end it there.
I can understand. I was there last night.
It's all good.
I was there last night. Yeah, I've seen the wet mattress. I saw that earlier today. Thank you guys so much for joining us for another episode of BC Thoughts Live. We go live every Sunday at 6 o'clock p.m. at twitch.tv/Briar Rabbit. The show is also uploaded at YouTube at Briar's channel and the Beastly Gamer channel. If you can't watch the live video or see the video content, you can now listen to our show in podcast form on Podbean, iTunes, or your favorite podcast service. Thank you again for hanging with the crew. We'll see you guys next week at the same time, same place. Shh. You might wake the baby.
We didn't even make a dick joke at the end.